So now we're gonna drive this RSQ3 Sportback and see how it behaves on the road. So we're driving now the Audi RSQ3 Sportback. We're gonna drive it first on comfort mode. As you would expect, in comfort mode it is quite comfortable. Suspensions are okay, they're not that stiff. And it can really be driven like a regular Q3. It is quite soft. You hear the engine noise in the cabin, but I guess that's normal. The gear lever is quite raised. So I would say, in a way, even if it looks really ugly, it is comfortable because you can have your arm here on the armrest and then have your hand here resting on the gear knob. But of course, if you want to select some things, you don't have the scroll wheel here, so you are forced to raise your hand and go to the screen. That's a lot of work. As a reminder, the engine is the 5 cylinders, 2.5 liters, 400 horsepower and 480 Newton meters of torque. We're gonna now go to a dynamic. You can hear the engine revving a little bit higher. I'm on manual now. And then you get the second personality of this car. Obviously, when you move on dynamic, everything gets stiffer. The suspensions are still okay. As a comparison, my RS5 Sportback has the dynamic ride control, and whenever you move on dynamic, it's just undrivable. I mean, it is very good if you're on track or in a very flat surface, but on roads like this one now, I usually go in individual and set the suspensions to comfort mode, because it's really like one thing that surprised me when I drove this car for the first time this morning is that on dynamic mode you have no pops and bangs coming from the exhaust. It is noisy, it makes noise, it's quite a good noise, but you got no pops, unlike my RS5, I have to say. Ooh, but it's quite responsive. I mean, we all know the 5 cylinders 2.5.
Infotrafic RTS.
We all know the 5 cylinders 2.5 liters. It's an engine that won a lot of prizes as engine of the year, and it's a very good engine that has a very nice sound. You can see that Audi implemented RS1 and RS2 modes with this button right here, and by selecting this you can switch from the two modes, and actually you can really select how you want to configure each mode. This is something very similar to what we find on BMW M models, and if you ask me, is really a gimmick, because you just go to the individual mode that used to be on the past Audis like my RS5, and you can select everything manually. And anyway, on individual you're always gonna be dynamic everything except the suspensions probably, and then you have the dynamic mode, which is here, where everything gets stiffer. So I don't see the point of having those two configurable settings here. So let's try to do a 0 to 80. Let's go. Wow, it's quite good. It's quite dynamic, it's fast, of course. There's a little bit of roll as you would expect with this SUV sized car, but it's still quite good for a small SUV. The handling is good. And I have to say that I'm now on RS1 model, which is not the most stiff mode. We're gonna go on RS2 right now. And now the suspensions got stiffer, everything is on dynamic. The engine sound is pronounced, as they say. So let's see now. Let's try now. Go. Yeah, the sound is better, of course. What to say, the car is fast, it is quite enjoyable to drive, but I may be biased because I'm having my RS5 Sportback now since 2 months. My car it gives me more sensations than this. Of course, that car has a 6-cylinder twin turbo with 50 horsepower more than this. And also it is not an SUV obviously, but I have more, I would say, sports car sensation on my RS5 than I have on this RSQ3 Sportback. But again, don't get me wrong, this is a quite good RS model. No pops, no bangs, but still a good engine sound. I wouldn't compare this car to a Urus. I wouldn't call it personally a baby Urus. I would call it more a baby RSQ8, because I didn't drive yet the RSQ8. I hope to do it very soon. But this car probably has some RSQ8 vibes in it. We're gonna go on manual now and leave the traffic behind, go a little bit away. You can really have fun with this car. Of course, if you want to drive aggressively, you would choose probably the RS3. But if you want to drive aggressively and you need some space and cargo room, then you would try this car. There's a rattle coming from somewhere over there. My RS5 has a rattle. This one has a rattle. What to think about it? some ambient lights into the cabin. I like the illuminated Quattro logo on most recent Audis. On Freeway, it is quite a comfortable ride, even in dynamic mode like I am right now. The engine is a little bit noisy into the cabin, but you can always move on comfort mode. And probably this is the best way to drive on Freeway on comfort mode. Why should you be on dynamic? You still have plenty of power if needed. So in conclusion, what to say about this RSQ3 Sportback? I like it a lot. It is a very stylish, powerful, small SUV. So if you are looking for a practical, powerful, small SUV that is also stylish, then the RSQ3 Sportback is the right one for you. If you need some more extra space, then you would consider probably the regular RSQ3. The 5-cylinder, I mean, everybody knows this engine. This engine is good. It has plenty of power. It is responsive. So I would say it's a perfect mix. As usual, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe. I'm about to reach 20k subscriber, which for me it's enormous, but this year I would like to step up the game and get even higher than that. So if you just come across this video and you did like it, please give a subscribe and a like, and don't forget to activate the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.